Summary of the novel, The Brothers Karamazov. Author, Fyodor Dostoevsky. Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov, symbol of decay. Fyodor Pavlovich Karamazov, a landowner in Skoto-Prigonievsk, lives dissolutely, stingily, and immorally, reflecting the corruption of the 19th-century Russian nobility. He neglects family responsibilities, pursues lust, and is despised by the town for his depraved lifestyle. Fyodor marries twice, having Dmitri with Adelaida Ivanovna, Ivan and Alyosha with Sofia Ivanovna, but leaves his children to be raised by others, such as relatives or guardians. He has Smerdyakov, an illegitimate son with Lizaveta, a mentally disabled woman called Stinking Lizaveta. Fyodor's depraved behavior toward her sparks outrage in the town. He amasses wealth through usury and deceit, often drunk in taverns, arguing with Dmitri over inheritance money. Fyodor's selfishness destroys father-son bonds, laying the foundation for tragedy. He is seen as shameless but persists in his debauchery, causing family tension, especially with Dmitri, who demands his inheritance. Fyodor's decay represents the rot of society at that time. The three Karamazov brothers and Smerdyakov, contrasting personalities. Dmitri, 28, a former army officer, lives by intense emotions but is torn between desire and conscience. He loves Grushenka, clashing with his father, and often erupts in jealousy, hurting his fiancée Katerina Ivanovna. Ivan, 24, an intellectual, struggles to find meaning in a suffering world. He doubts God, writes philosophical essays, and is conflicted between reason and morality. Alyosha, 20, a novice monk, is compassionate but faces challenges to his faith when witnessing injustice. He holds on to faith through Father Zosima, trying to reconcile the family. Smerdyakov, an illegitimate son, grows up as a servant, resentful for being abandoned. He is clever, scheming, and influenced by Ivan's philosophy that everything is permitted. The four represent emotion, reason, faith, and corruption. Their differences create inner and family conflicts, foreshadowing tragedy in Skoto-Prigonievsk. Each carries a wound from the past, shaping their actions and fates in this story full of contradictions. The social context of 19th-century Russia. Skoto-Prigonievsk is a provincial town where orthodoxy clashes with modern ideas. The local monastery, with its prayer services, is a center of faith, where Father Zosima teaches love. In contrast, taverns and brothels reveal decay, reflecting Russia's disorientation between tradition and innovation. Grushenka, once dissolute due to betrayal, gradually changes, becoming the focus of rivalry between Dmitri and Fyodor. Katerina Ivanovna, Dmitri's refined fiancée, suffers from his betrayal but strives to maintain dignity. These characters highlight family and social conflicts, from lust to honor. Disputes over wealth and love. Dmitri demands Fyodor pay his inheritance from his mother, but Fyodor refuses, leading to tension. A meeting at Katerina's house, where the family argues, ignites father-son conflict. Dmitri, though engaged to Katerina, is infatuated with Grushenka, a captivating woman once heard, torn between desire and guilt. Russian society appears full of contradictions, between faith and doubt. Philosophical debates in the town reveal a nation grappling with new ideas, setting the stage for the Karamazov tragedy. Both Dmitri and Fyodor vie for Grushenka, making her the center of jealousy. Katerina tries to hold Dmitri with dignity, but his impulsiveness plunges her into suffering. In anger, Dmitri visits Fyodor's house, suspecting Grushenka is there, and threatens to kill his father, stirring the town. This conflict reveals family disintegration. Fyodor's selfishness and Dmitri's impulsiveness deepen the tragedy. Their actions are not just personal disputes but reflect the decay of father-son relationships in society at that time. Ivan and the Grand Inquisitor. Ivan meets Alyosha in a tavern and tells the story of the Grand Inquisitor. He imagines Jesus returning in the Middle Ages, arrested by a church judge. The Inquisitor says people don't want freedom but need bread, power, and control, criticizing Jesus for burdening humanity with freedom. The story debates freedom, power, and human nature. Ivan doubts God, believing he is responsible for suffering, especially of children. Torn between reason and helplessness before evil, his talk with Alyosha becomes a philosophical pinnacle. Alyosha tries to comfort with simple faith, but Ivan finds no peace. The Grand Inquisitor reveals his spiritual crisis, leaving questions about the meaning of freedom and responsibility in a world full of suffering. Alyosha and the lessons of Father Zosima. Alyosha is influenced by Father Zosima, the monastery elder, who teaches that everyone is responsible for humanity's sins. Zosima recounts his past as an officer, renouncing violence to become a monk, inspiring Alyosha to live for compassion and forgiveness in an unjust world. When Zosima dies, many hope his body won't decay, a miracle proving holiness. However, it decays quickly, sparking monastery disputes. Alyosha, initially shaken in faith, realizes faith lies in compassion, not miracles. Alyosha connects with Alyosha, a sick boy, and his friends. Zosima's lessons shape his path, helping him bring hope despite challenges from family and society. The death of Fyodor Karamazov. Fyodor is murdered in his home, shocking Skotopriganivsk. Dmitri, who threatened to kill his father, is suspected, seen near the scene. Drunk and suspecting Grushenka is with Fyodor, Dmitri visits his father's house but leaves without committing the act. The town buzzes about their tangled ties, from inheritance disputes to romantic jealousy. Fyodor's large sum of money vanishes, and Dmitri is arrested for lavish spending right after the crime. The truth emerges that Smerdyakov is the culprit, killing Fyodor out of deep resentment and to frame Dmitri. He deliberately misinterprets Ivan's philosophy that, if there's no God, everything is permitted, using it to justify his crime. The murder highlights family corruption. Smerdyakov, a product of abandonment, acts for revenge, twisting Ivan's ideas to excuse his killing. Dmitri suffers unjust consequences, making the town gossip about the Karamazov tragedy. The trial and the truth. Dmitri's trial captivates the town. The prosecutor accuses him of killing his father for money and love, citing evidence of impulsive behavior. The defense argues Dmitri is innocent, merely a victim of circumstance. The trial explores greed, lust, and responsibility, illuminating human nature in Russia's conflicted society of justice and morality. Tormented, Ivan meets Smerdyakov. He confesses to killing Fyodor, saying he distorted Ivan's philosophy to justify the crime, emphasizing Ivan's indirect role through detached reasoning. Smerdyakov kills himself, leaving Ivan deeply shaken, nearly mad. Ivan testifies in court, but a haunting, devil image, symbolizing madness and inner torment, renders his words useless. Ivan's testimony is dismissed, and Dmitri is sentenced to prison despite being innocent. Ivan's mental collapse, with the devil as a symbol of insanity, underscores his crisis's depth. The trial becomes a stage for moral questions, leaving the town reflecting on justice and responsibility. Alyosha and the lessons from children. Alyosha brings hope following Zosima's teachings. He spends time with town children, especially Alyosha, a boy gravely ill with lung disease. Once bullied, Alyosha finds friendship through Alyosha. He helps Alyosha and friends like Kolya Krasotkin reconcile, share joy, and organizes gatherings to bond them. Alyosha becomes a model of compassion, earning gratitude from Alyosha's parents for his care. When Alyosha dies, Alyosha comforts his friends. At the funeral, he speaks of Zuchka, the dog Alyosha loved, reviving fond memories of the boy's care for it. Alyosha tells the boys about kindness, stressing that small acts, like helping each other, can transform lives and spread love. These words deeply inspire, prompting the children to pledge to live more kindly. Alyosha reflects on his role in family and society. Though unable to resolve all conflicts, like those between his brothers, he believes compassion will sow seeds for a better future. He continues connecting with the community, from the monastery to poor families, bringing faith and hope to those around him, especially the young generation growing up in this turbulent town. Dmitri and Grushenka, love and plans. Though convicted, Dmitri finds new meaning through love with Grushenka. Once reckless due to betrayal, she changes through feelings for Dmitri, becoming gentler. They plan to flee to America to escape prison. Alyosha and Katerina discuss with friends to support this plan, though it remains a vague idea, fraught with risks from border crossing to police pursuit. Dmitri repents for hurting Katerina and living recklessly. He recalls gambling, quarrels with Fyodor, and vying for Grushenka, realizing suffering taught him love's value. Grushenka shares her past of abandonment, helping Dmitri understand her pain. Their love, once born of lust, now offers salvation, giving meaning to both their lives. The plan to flee brings hope but is uncertain. Dmitri considers atoning, though innocent of murder, by living better. Grushenka vows to stay with him, despite facing exile. They resolve to start anew, though the future may lead to failure or freedom, amid the family tragedy and chaotic society of Skotoprigonivsk. Ivan and uncertainty. Ivan collapses after Smerdyakov's death and the trial, nearly mad. He's haunted by a devil, an image reflecting his split between reason, morality, and guilt, showing deep madness and inner torment. Alyosha cares for Ivan, trying to pull him from darkness with talks of family and faith. Ivan recalls the Grand Inquisitor and debates with Alyosha, but finds no peace. Katerina Ivanovna cares for Ivan, but their relationship is complex. Katerina feels responsible for past ambiguous feelings, having rejected his proposal, adding to Ivan's unease. Isolated by his own ideas, Ivan obsesses over responsibility for the world's evil, especially children's suffering he once described, sinking deeper into mental crisis. Ivan's future is unclear, with signs of severe collapse. He questions God and justice, wondering if there's escape from his philosophical obsessions. Alyosha and Katerina's care offers faint hope, but Ivan remains lost in madness, leaving his fate uncertain in the conflicted town where faith and doubt collide. An open-ended conclusion. The novel ends openly, inviting readers to reflect on philosophical and moral issues like faith, freedom, and responsibility. Dmitri and Grushenka plan to escape to America, holding hope but facing capture risks. Dmitri reflects on his life, from drunken days to disputes with Fyodor, realizing love with Grushenka gave him meaning. He considers atonement by living honestly, though far from home. Alyosha shifts from monastic life to worldly action, spending time with children like Kolya Krasotkin, who once admired Ivan but now learns kindness from Alyosha. He comforts poor families, like Alyosha's, believing small acts will spread love. Alyosha prays for his brothers but focuses on bringing faith to the community through concrete deeds, hoping to resolve conflicts. Ivan sinks into crisis, cared for by Alyosha and Katerina. He thinks of the Grand Inquisitor and questions about freedom, but finds no way out. Skotoprigonivsk, with its monastery and taverns, echoes 19th-century Russia's conflicts. This open ending, uncertain, calls readers to engage in dialogue about life's great questions.